The boy, Thomas, loved the sky. He would lie in the fields for hours watching clouds drift by. He dreamed of flying among them. His heart yearned for the freedom of the open sky. He imagined soaring above the world, seeing himself as a bird gliding on currents of air. Thomas longed for peace, a world where he could fly without worry. Thomas built model airplanes, crafting them with care. He flew them with joy. Each flight was a small victory, bringing him closer to his dream. He imagined himself in the cockpit, feeling the wind in his hair and tasting the freedom of the endless blue. War came like a storm. It shattered the peace and stole Thomas's dreams. The world descended into chaos. Gone were the carefree days. The sky, once a symbol of hope, was now a battleground. The roar of planes replaced the song of birds. Bombs rained down from above, and fear cast a long shadow over the land. Thomas knew his duty. He was needed to defend his country. He answered the call to arms, leaving behind his dreams of peaceful flight. He traded them for the harsh realities of war. He began training to be a fighter pilot, learning to fly, fight and survive in the deadly aerial arena. Training was grueling. It pushed Thomas to his limits, but he persevered. He found strength in his fellow pilots. They were united by a common purpose, facing the danger together. They forged a bond unbreakable. Among them was David, a kindred spirit. They shared a love for flying and dreamed of the day they could return to the skies in peace. They flew together, trained together, and relied on each other. Their friendship, forged in the fires of war, became Thomas's solace. It was a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. One mission, they flew into the heart of enemy territory. The sky was thick with smoke and fire. Enemy fighters swarmed like angry bees. Thomas and David flew with skill and courage, fighting bravely and protecting each other's backs. Then a deafening explosion. David's plane engulfed in flames. He'd taken a hit protecting Thomas. He spiraled down, a burning meteor in the daylight sky. Thomas watched helplessly, his heart shattered. He was alone, surrounded by enemies. He fought on, fueled by grief and rage, honoring David's sacrifice with each enemy plane he downed. The war finally ended. Thomas, weary and scarred, returned home. Victory felt hollow. The skies were silent, but they were filled with the ghosts of fallen comrades. The joy of flight was gone, replaced by a haunting emptiness. He looked up at the clouds. They reminded him of David. His dreams of peace were tainted by the memory of war. He found his country in ruins, cities were scarred, families were torn apart. The war had left its mark. Everywhere he looked, he saw reminders of the conflict. The world felt small. The sky, once limitless, now felt claustrophobic. It was a constant reminder of all he had lost. Section 6. Picking up the pieces. Thomas struggled to find his place in the post-war world. The world felt unfamiliar. His dreams seemed distant. He was haunted by the memories of war. But he knew he had to rebuild his life. He had to find a reason to keep going. He started small. He found work as a mechanic. He fixed cars, his hands remembering the feel of airplane engines. He found solace in the rhythm of work. It was a distraction from the turmoil within. He slowly began to reconnect with the world around him. Section 7, Rebuilding a Life, Brick by Brick. He met a woman named Sarah. She was kind and patient. She saw the pain behind his eyes. She helped him to heal. They built a life together, a simple life filled with love and laughter. Sarah helped Thomas find joy again. She reminded him of the beauty in everyday moments. He found solace in sharing his story. He spoke to young people about the war. He told them about David. He reminded them of the cost of freedom. He urged them to cherish peace, to never take it for granted. In sharing his story, he found a sense of purpose. Section 8. Finding peace under the same sky. Years passed, the world healed. Thomas grew old, his hair turned white, but his eyes still held a spark. He never forgot the war, he never forgot David, but he found peace. He found it in the love of his family, in the beauty of the world, and in the quiet moments under the open sky. He taught his grandchildren about the sky. He told them stories of daring flights and brave friends. He shared his love of flying. He taught them to dream of a world without war, a world where the sky was a symbol of hope, not battle. Section 9. a legacy etched in the clouds. Thomas never flew a plane again, but in his mind he was still soaring. He soared above the clouds, free from the weight of the world. He flew alongside David. Their laughter echoed in the wind. They were young again, their spirits unbound. Thomas, the boy who dreamed of peace, found it. He found it in the memories of his friend, in the love of his family, and in the quiet strength of a life well lived. His story, a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, hope can still take flight.